Hello, and welcome back to the Graduate Business Information Bootcamp video series. I again am Sarah Vital, your business librarian, and today we're going to pick up where we left off and talk more about the resources available at the St. Mary's Library. While we do have a physical library on campus, as an SMC student, you have access to many of the same online resources and data sets available to the professional business environment. So when you are assigned a research project, consider the library a first stop. We may have some of the resources that'll take some of the challenge out of hunting it down somewhere else. So let's get started and look at the St. Mary's Library website. As you will see in this recording, we recorded this during the COVID crisis when the library building was actually closed. So you'll see if there's some kind of news announcement you need to know, it'll be up here at the top. You'll also see a link to the hours and whether we're open or not. Of course, right now we aren't, so that's a bit of a challenge. Know that sometimes the website will change, the look will change, we're constantly revising things. So even if something looks a little bit different, I don't want to have to record this every single time we redo something. So know that the basic premise will always be the same, even if the look changes a little bit. And one of the most important things to remember won't change is a link somewhere to something called research guides. These are our kind of subject-specific portals to the resources you need for that particular discipline. So when you click on that, you'll see we have one for all the different disciplines taught at St. Mary's. For you specifically, we have a subject guide for business and business administration. That's kind of the catch-all of all the resources we have specifically for classes in CEBA. We also have additional guides for these specific kinds of courses that you can also investigate. I'm just going to go over the business administration page really quickly to show you the kinds of resources that we have. On this first page, I usually hang on to it for real estate to show you some things you need to know or any updates or quick information about keeping up to date on things. But when you really start to do research, one of these tabs will have a resource that's probably best for you. For instance, if you need to find journal articles, either scholarly journal articles or trade journals or any kind of information related to business, you can try Google, but you might often get paywalls. We have access to a lot of those things through our subscriptions. So try this first. Try searching the multi-search database or the ABI Inform collection. These will be a lot of different scholarly journals and trade journals that we have access to through our subscriptions, and you won't have to pay anything additional. Also see which newspapers we have access to. Right now we have the New York Times and the Wall Street Journal. Follow the information on these screens for how you can set up your own free access to these sites. We hope to add more newspapers in the future, so check back. Also, if there's a specific journal you know you like to read often, like Business Week or The Economist, you can come here and use our links to go directly to the full text of those journals as well. Case studies are a very specific kind of journal article. They're often used in class, either by assignment or you're asked to find some business case studies. If you need to do that, Sage Business Cases is a really great resource. These are all available from some of the top schools without additional charge to you. The same with Emerald. These tend to be a little bit more international. If you're given the requirement to read a Harvard Business Review cases, or you saw one that might be interesting, we will just send you back to your instructor. The Harvard Business Publishing has very strict license restrictions, and libraries are not able to have access to those. So HBR cases, those will be on your own or through your instructor. Always check back with your instructor first. If you need to do any kind of company information, if you need to find financial reports, anything to do with anything publicly traded, Mergent Online is one of our key databases. It's known in many different names, FTSE Russell, Moody's. It has many different brand names and many different contexts. In the academic world, we call it Mergent. This is a great one-stop shop for anything you need related to financial statements or company financials or anything like that. D&B Hoovers is another good option because that has more qualitative information. It will often have things like SWOT analysis or other things. It also has information about some private companies. So private companies, notoriously difficult to research, but D&B Hoovers will have some of that information. Another area you'll want to look through and do some research on often is the industry. IBIS World will be definitely your first stop for that. This is one of the leading resources out there that have in-depth proprietary analysis on markets. You can find IBIS World reports using Google, and they usually retail between $4,000 to $7,000 each. So we have access to it by subscription, so for your academic needs, you'll have access to those reports for no additional charge. Investment information, we are a Morningstar campus, so we have the Morningstar Investment Research Center, which is a really good place to get market data, proprietary analysis of stocks and investments. It'll give you a lot of the same information that you think you can get with Yahoo Finance, but it's going to be a lot more in depth and a lot more professional. This is one of the main resources used in a lot of the big financial analysis and finance firms in the Bay Area, so this is a good source to get used to using. You can also see some of the other ones we have. We do have Value Line, which is a little bit more consumer end, based more for individuals interested in investing, and also Capital IQ / Net Advantage / Standard & Poor's, another resource that goes by many names, but has a lot of interesting and very useful professional data. For consumer and statistical information, you'll often need this for market research if you need to market a new product or you need to see who might be interested in a particular sector. Again, IBIS World is going to be one of your best bets. And we also have access to Mintel, which is another one of the key reports in the field when it comes to market segmentation and market analysis. Who are your customers and how do we market to these customers? These also are very valuable reports, but they're available to you for no additional cost. Passport, formerly known as Euromonitor, has tons and tons of data. If you need to find out which market you might want to send your new dog food product to, you can use Passport to find out which areas have the fastest growing percentage of pet ownership or spending on pet products. That's the kind of detailed level information you can get from Passport. And you can also see some of these other sources that we have as well. Of course, libraries are known for books, and we do have those. But useful for you if you're off campus more often is we can limit just to the ebooks. So all the books that we have that you can view online. For instance, if you're doing any kind of research or need to do a project on cost analysis or pricing structures, you can do a search in Albert and find just the books about that topic in the ebook format, and you'll be able to access those online. We also have some video streaming services. You've probably heard of Canopy. We do have limited access to that for educational purposes. We also have films on demand and academic video online, which are often really useful go-to, how-to kind of videos. Good samples of how to give a good presentation and things like that. So these are also resources useful to you. There is a small section here about career resources and professional development, and mostly that sends you back to the career services you have available in SIBA. Those are really grateful for all the amazing work that they do over there, and we like to send you straight there for some of your more one-on-one connections. We also do have online access to Vault Career Intelligence, which is a database you'll be able to access even after you graduate. So this has things like the career guides for specific industries, resume templates, sample letters. You can also search for the Indeed job listings here, find other graduate programs if you want to continue on further into graduate work or doctoral work. So this is a really great resource to know to see what's out there. And finally, writing and citing. So citation is a big thing the library can help with. Most academic papers in business use APA style for citation. APA is now up to the 7th edition, which we have now available to you. If you just need a quick guide of how do I cite something, we have this APA style guide for business cheat sheet, which is, about 5 pages or so of samples of how you might go about citing a certain material in the 7th edition of APA. So if you have a book and you need to cite a book, we give you suggestions and samples. We break down the formula for making the citation. Journal articles, it walks you through each of the pieces of the citation. What's useful about this particular cheat sheet is it also shows you how to cite these other electronic resources I mentioned. So D&B Hoovers or Mergent or IBIS World, this also gives you a sample of how to cite those as well. But most importantly, the most important part of this page right here is your access to your librarian. So here I am. You can send me an email if you have a specific question or need some help with something. You can also schedule an appointment with me for either face-to-face in-person meeting at some time that works for you, or via phone or Zoom. If you're working on a paper and need some ideas, that's a good opportunity to schedule an appointment with me and we can work through some of the sources that'll be best for you to use. If it's a quick question, like I need this article and I can't find it, or my faculty member told me to read this book and you're not sure what to do, go ahead and ask us right there on the top of every page. This will go to the first librarian on duty. So you can see some frequently asked questions here. So again, how do I get the Wall Street Journal subscription? But you can also just ask a librarian. Type in your name and your question. That will go to the first librarian available and we'll answer you right back in that chat service. You can also send us a longer email or give us a question. And again, it reminds you to make an appointment with your specific librarian. So the librarians are here to help you. We have what I like to call the rule of 20, that if you are stuck for more than 20 minutes, or even less than that if you don't have 20 minutes to spend, ask us. We can get you over that hump. We're here to help you get where you need to go faster. You're not expected to have to know all the ins and outs. And sometimes we do know, we've heard that question before, or we have an idea about where to go. So definitely tap into these professional resources to make your life easier and to get the best possible help you can get to make the best possible work you can do in your graduate program.